Anyway, joining us now is Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn, the aforementioned. Senator Blackburn, thankfully, you voted against this monstrosity. I know there's a lot going on in the world, and I want to talk to you about it, but I want to begin here, because life begins at home, and this fiscal craziness continues.
It does continue, and the out-of-control spending, in my opinion, is immoral. What you're doing is jeopardizing the freedom that our children and grandchildren will know in their lifetime. And you know, Larry, when you look at the pressures that are coming from China, who wants to be globally dominant by the time we get to 2050, Russia, who is trying to diminish us as a superpower, how they're working with their proxies in the axis of evil, Iran, which works with their proxies, and of course North Korea, who likes to be the cowboy of the Wild West and go shoot off missiles and get into nuclear warheads. You have to be worried about what it means to have a weak, rudderless president who cannot stand up to out-of-control spending at home and who cannot get a handle on global affairs when he leaves the U.S. or when he holds meetings like he is today with the German chancellor.
Yeah, the two socialists being together. The thing is, Senator Blackburn, you know, Reagan taught me, all of us, when I was a kid working there, you're weak at home, you're weak abroad. We are weak at home with skyrocketing inflation. Now, we had a great moment here when this Build Back Better thing died, okay, with 50...
Build Back broke.
Build Back broke, yes, ma'am, with 50 Republican senators and 2 brave Democrats, okay? So that was good. But they just keep coming back with stuff. This $350 billion, which is nobody's competitiveness. It's all about bailouts and picking winners and losers and slush funds for unions and bailing out Intel and, oh, my gosh, on and on. Then, as you probably know, there's a lot of loose talk about a COVID bill, another COVID bill. Really?
Right.
I mean, I think we should be ending all the COVID stuff. And then there's appropriations bill. I guess government money runs out, what, February 18th, and you all are going to have to do a continuing resolution. If they use the current services baseline, it's another $2 trillion in debt. So I'm saying there's no end to it.
That's right. And see, look at how it is stacking up. When you're talking about the extension on a continuing resolution and the money that is there, and then another COVID relief bill, and then they're trying to take Build Back Broke and break it into pieces so that they can get to their $2 trillion, which is really $5 trillion. But extra COVID is on top of that. Extra spending, programmatic spending, is on top of that. What they want to do is just keep the printing presses running, devalue the dollar. China is out here pushing the digital yuan, trying to push that globally through the Olympics. They're pushing it into Africa, where they have people running off of Huawei technologies. So this is all a part of their game plan. And we have a president who does not understand money doesn't grow on trees. And this isn't something that you can just keep cranking out these presses, printing these dollar bills. We have no metallic standard. And this is why people are getting really, really nervous about what they're doing with the debt run-up, hitting over $30 trillion, and knowing that by the time we get to the end of the decade, we're going to be over $45 trillion if they keep spending the way they are spending. I mean, it is out of control.
This is, you know, inflation is public enemy #1, every poll. Not the Ukraine border, although, you know, I want Ukraine to be able to choose NATO if that happens. But look, it's not the Ukraine border. Actually, more importantly, is the southern border with Mexico. But I'm just saying, I don't understand. So we come back, we beat back better, Build Back Better, whatever it's called, Build Back Broke. How the heck, I mean, look, Senator, you're terrific. You and I have known each other for 3 decades. How can 18 Republican senators vote for this thing? Because, honestly, this is like fiscal outrage. And you know what? Here's the other thing. That infrastructure bill, I probably was too easy on that bill, because what we see now is that infrastructure bill is not going to build any bridges, roads, and highways because of EPA requirements, and they're bringing in the Endangered Species Act and that one federal decision, you know, that was going to move things faster. All that's being broken up. The rug was completely pulled out from under us. The Democrats cannot and will not do anything right when it comes to this. Nothing.
Well, you're right, but see, their religion is climate. And so this is why they're going to make it impossible for our counties and cities to build their roadways, because they're not going to give them permission to expand lanes on highways and repair these bridges, because they really don't want heavy transport. You know, they are not looking for expanding interstates. They would be very happy if you ended personal car ownership. That would make them happy. It would make them happy if you had electric cars that you drove right around your community, but then you had to get on a train or a bus or a plane, mass transit, if you want to leave your community. That makes them happy. That's because most of them live right along the East Coast or in a big city like Chicago or out on the West Coast, somewhere from San Francisco to LA. They do not live in the heartland where you may be 15, 20, 30 minutes away from school. You may be an hour away from your job, spending a lot of time in your car every single day. Inflation, as you said, item number one, people are astounded with what it is costing to feed their family. People are astounded at how out of control the prices are at the pump. They're saying, wait a minute, this is going to go to $4 a gallon. We're knocking on that door to put energy, to put fuel in my car. They're looking at the heating bills that they got for heating their home in January, when we've had all of this terribly cold weather in Tennessee, and they're going, look at this bill. I can't believe it. My heating bill's more this month than my mortgage. We're hearing a lot of that.
Yeah, so 10% inflation or whatever is not going to make us more competitive around the world. How about,
Not at all.
Last one on this subject, then I want to ask you about the China Olympic Games. $8 billion, I'm not making this up, $8 billion is being designated in this bill for the UN Climate Fund. $8 billion, okay? If I had any hair, ma'am, I'd be pulling it out.
Well, $8 billion to them, that's a drop in the bucket. But as I said, climate is their religion. They feel like the UN should be in charge of regulating climate. You know, they would give all sorts of authority to the UN if they thought they could get by with it. But they are trying to put the UN in charge of global climate, and then we would have to turn over that role. We couldn't police it ourselves. We would have to acquiesce to the rules of the UN. This is ridiculous. These guys are such globalists that they're willing to give away U.S. sovereignty, U.S. responsibility, and U.S. positions. And look at who is on all of these panels at the UN. You've got China on the human rights panel. Think about what you're going to get there. They're carrying out a genocide. You just have to realize that the elitists feel if they have that power and they're in control, they can work these rules the way they want them, and all of us little people are going to have to do exactly what they say. It doesn't matter if it's inflation, if it's the economy, if it's our sovereignty, losing it because of an open southern border. They're willing to give that away in order for people to like them. I would rather people respect the U.S.
Yeah, how about some strength at home? Anyway, Senator Blackburn, fabulous. I appreciate it, ma'am, very, very much.
You
Talk
got
soon.
it.